All right, Georgia Tech hosting Clemson. I'm actually really excited for this game. This will be a great one. I guess starting with Clemson, what has happened to Clemson? Their offense has taken a complete nosedive from last year. This is a team that brought back a lot from last year's team, including their quarterback, who was arguably a Heisman contender at the end of last year, the way he was playing, Cade Klubnik. It's just been a disaster this year. It's been terrible. They start off the embarrassing loss at home to LSU week 1, where, you could argue LSU's defense was really improved, and maybe that's why Clemson looks so good. But then they followed it up with another embarrassing performance against Troy. A lot of teams, they have, rough first games, or I guess a rough game in general, in a big game. They usually come back out and have a pretty big bounce back game the next game, just kind of, I guess silence the critics and prove they're not, as bad as maybe you thought. Not Clemson, though. Clemson came out and doubled down on their poverty offense against Troy. Was losing at halftime, like 16-3. It just didn't look very good. Now they have to go to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, I think, is a team that is maybe one of the more underrated teams in the country. Definitely in the ACC, though. I think Haynes King is a baller. He's a guy that has just found a way to make plays and in some instances win games for Georgia Tech over the last year or two. And I think they're a pretty good team this year. Eric Rivers, transferred from FIU, coming in. He's been a great receiver for them so far. Haynes King is, like I said, I think underrated quarterback, especially as a runner. He's just been really good. Even last year when he was injured, he found ways to make plays, beat Miami, gave Georgia all they could handle. So yeah, I actually really like Georgia Tech in this game. I'm going to take Georgia Tech in the upset here. To me, Clemson it's been too concerning. 2 games in a row of just terrible offense for Clemson. And while I don't think Georgia Tech's offense is elite, I think it's good enough to take advantage of that. And ultimately, I feel like Clemson's just a team that might get caught playing with fire a little bit too much in this one. So give me Georgia Tech in this game at home in the upset. Give me them 24-21. Georgia Tech wins the game. Clemson will fight in this one. They still have an elite defense. But Georgia Tech, I think, will take advantage of the bad offensive play like Clemson, and they will upset Clemson at home.